Hello, everyone, and welcome to uh, episode 27, I believe. Am I right?
That doesn't sound right.
Doesn't sound right. All right, we'll fact check that.
You've got
And
to keep work figuring this out.
yeah. Uh,
27, you're right. This is 27.
okay, there we go.
I shouldn't have doubted you.
You should not have. If I do know anything, I know today we're going to talk about Loki's finale, season one finale, because there's going to be a
Spoiler.
season two. I saw Black Widow and Cruella. Uh, we're gonna talk about Grease, Rise of the Pink Ladies, and Emmy nominations. Maybe. Um, Evan,
I
which of
saw
those?
as well. I saw the Forever Purge.
Oh, you saw the Forever Purge. Yes, forgot about that. Evan, which of those topics uh, tickles you the most?
Which tickles my fancy.
Yeah.
Well, I guess as is our tradition, I suppose we should open with some Loki. Loki.
Yes.
When you drink champagne and it tastes just like Coca Cola.
Hmm.
La Loki.
They should have done that as their promo instead of the Loki charms that they did.
I didn't Loki charms. Is that a thing they did?
Yeah, and they put I don't know if it was Loki or the leprechaun had like a Loki helmet.
Um,
What's the Lucky Charms leprechaun name?
I think his name is Lucky Charm.
I think his name is Lucky. I'll
His
double
name
check.
has to be Lucky, like
Yeah.
luck or like it's either Lucky or it's something really stupid like Florentine Henderson or something. I don't know.
Okay. That wasn't on my radar, but could be a correct call. Um
His name is because they always have they're either named after the product or they have like a long name and backstory and stuff like that. Like I know one of Ronald McDonald's pals has like a full name. I think it's like Grimace. Like his real name is like
Grimace.
Archibald von Wimbledon
Thanos.
Thanbolt.
So I just looked up Lucky Charms leprechaun name, and Google says the mascot of Lucky Charms, created in 1963, is Lucky the Leprechaun, also known as Sir Charms and originally called LC Leprechaun. And he, I guess canonically, since Lucky Charms was
The
introduced,
Lucky Charms commercial canon.
yes, since Lucky Charms was made in 1963, Sir Charms is 57 years of age.
Well, I imagine he wasn't born on his first commercial, so he's
It's
got to be like
possible.
70 something now.
Hmm. Okay. So Sir Charms, there you go.
He used to be a strapping Irish lad, and then
Yes.
over time years of eating only sugary cereal
Hmm.
decayed his bones and stature to the point where he's considered a leprechaun now.
Yeah. Um. Well, if you're a fan of soccer in England, I hope the tragic loss they suffered in the European soccer finals to Italy was negated by all the British fans in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Oh,
When it was announced that at the end of the season finale of Loki that there would be a season two, and also maybe just the finale in general. Right? Was it a big win for the British?
well, the sun. They say the sun never sets on the British Empire. I guess they
Yeah.
haven't said that for the last 70 years or so, but
Hmm.
the sun did set on Marvel's British Empire. The end of this beleaguered. I hope that's
Sure.
word. Beleaguered show Loki. I
For now.
I know you disagree with me on this, or I think I did know you disagree with me on this. You've known to surprise me.
Yeah,
You've,
we'll get into it.
I said shortly before we started that had Loki been, I can't really say. I know it's my favorite of the three shows so far. And part of me thinks that if it had been somehow written as a film, it could have even been one of my favorite Marvel films. I think it is a cut above a lot of the other Marvel stuff in retrospection because of the things that set it apart.
Mm,
It feels narratively different from a lot of other Marvel stuff. It's one of the only things that doesn't feel like a trailer for the MCU, like as intellectual property.
mm,
It's not like, hey, come watch more Marvel. We've got plenty of characters like this. It doesn't ever feel like that,
okay.
which I appreciate.
Yeah.
I mean, unlike WandaVision, unlike Falcon and the Winter Soldier, it never feels as stilted. It unlike WandaVision, it doesn't feel that need to like explain everything. It doesn't feel so it doesn't have that same sense of like a missed opportunity where everything that's cool and interesting gets explained down into mundanity.
That is
It
true.
doesn't have that kind of mundane malaise that kind of fills it up like WandaVision does. And it
Oh.
doesn't have the kind of stilted, like trying to tell a message but can't really feeling that Falcon and Winter Soldier does. It it's not perfect, but in retrospect, it's probably the only one of those three shows that has really any interesting visual charm. WandaVision did a little bit in the beginning, but once again, that went by the wayside by episode 4. It just kind of subdued. And much like WandaVision, I feel like this one in its in even though it feels original,
Hmm.
its feeling original still feels derivative of everything else. Like there's a bit of Seven in it, there's a bit of Doctor Who in it, there's a bit of 12 Monkeys, Brazil, Terry Gilliam stuff in it. It still feels very familiar, which is very unfortunate. It's more
Okay.
creative. I guess my um, final thoughts. It's more creative than WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier, and it's certainly more daring than the other two, but it
Yes.
still never overcomes that feeling of familiarity.
Okay.
It feels less safe, but more familiar, is my ultimate takeaway of the show.
Gotcha. Since I haven't watched like rewatched the Falcon and Winter Soldier or WandaVision since they came out, and Loki's so fresh in my mind, I don't know if I could rank how I feel about the three shows without like rewatching them all at the same time, I guess. My what I think the low parts of Loki, which there are a good amount, are like really low. As for like episode 3 was probably my least. It's up there with like episode 4 of WandaVision when they explain everything,
Yeah.
and the
That one with
episode 8 of WandaVision when it's all flashback and like
See those with WandaVision, that disappointed me. That the thing about that one that was so disappointing. I think WandaVision had a lot of cool promise with those first 3 episodes.
Mhm.
And then every episode after that, it just felt like it leveled everything into this weird mundane world where everything that was once ambiguous and cool and mysterious and strange just became so low and so again mundane. I keep saying that word, but it felt so
Yeah.
like average, and it devolved into a regular CGI sky fight. And with
Yeah.
Falcon the Soldier, it was just really boring. It was really dull, and it was. I hate to say this word, but it's preachy. It's trying to tell a very important message, but it's hard to do that when you're talking about flying people in suits and stuff that has really very little real world relevance or parallels or none
Yes.
that show's interested in trying to make, except for racism is bad, which I mean, good message, but you don't need to tell me that, Disney.
Yeah,
And
solid message.
this one, even though it does have the long, like, you know, philosophy for dummies, like
Mhm.
bits of dialogue, those are all like contained within episodes. The thing that sets this apart for me is that it's not like a good episode, bad episode thing. I think all the episodes are pretty decent and they've just got a lot of dead space in them.
Okay.
This one, though, even though it does have a long period where, so I guess we should explain the plot for this one, shouldn't we?
Yeah, so episode 5 ends when they fight the big monster in the sky and they win, and then there's like a big, I guess, like, man, what do they call it? It's something at the end of time.
Oh yeah,
Uh
the man. It reminded
it's like a mansion.
it reminded me of the like restaurant at the end of the universe in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Yeah. Um and so they go into the big mansion, obviously, and then is I feel like there's other stuff that happens before it that like they go
Uh,
when they go
Owen
to the
Wilson.
TVA. Owen
Owen
Wilson's
Wilson
back.
learns that the TVA is up to no good.
Right, right. And he oh, they go to the hunters go and take I guess the variant of the one lady that's running running the
Right.
TVA. Um, if you're just listening, I'm using quotation marks because like she's not really the one running it, but
He's
she's
their
like high up there.
yeah.
And I guess they take a variant of her to stop her from ever joining the TVA, but I don't know if that works. Like, I don't know if that's something they can do. I guess they don't ever explain that.
No, which I like. I'm glad
Yes, agreed.
histories are left. Not everything has to be explained to the point where it feels like you're pulling teeth watching it. I'm
Yes.
glad this show allows things, strange things can happen, and they happen because, and they're allowed to just be strange. They're
Hmm.
allowed to be confusing. It's allowed to make you think about something. It
Yes.
doesn't have to be doing all the thinking and the talking and the messages for you, which
Hmm.
is what I like about this show.
Yeah.
So
Um.
they talk, go enter the mansion.
Hmm.
We meet in a kind of Wizard of Oz type
Yep.
twist. We meet the man at the end of time,
Yep.
who he's the one controlling those puppets of the TVA.
Yeah.
And I thought he reminded me a lot of the James Woods as Hades.
Hmm.
I forgot what's his name. The man at the end, isn't it?
He who remains.
He who remains, right?
Hmm.
And I feel we should talk about the opening as well. So it
Yeah, we
opens
can.
kind of interestingly with a
Yeah,
lot
I
of
liked the
sound
intro
bites.
a lot.
I thought it was kind of funny how they mixed like sound bites from like Nelson Mandela and stuff.
Yeah, that then they kind of lost
Marvel.
me there. Yeah, I was like, okay,
Like these are all what you hear in history books, a
yes,
Nelson Mandela speech followed by "We have a Hulk."
yes,
But
yes. Yeah, it's like quotes. It's like the trumpet from the end of Avengers Endgame with the one song that plays when Captain America's dancing with when he goes back in time with Peggy, and then it's like
and then it's like a
this,
Malcolm
and then
X speech
it's like
stuff.
Falcon, and he's like, "What's up, Tic Tac?" And then it's like one small step for man.
Yeah, but I thought it was kind of like all the history of the world as one,
Yes,
and then
I.
there's an undercurrent of like time. It was almost like a Kurt Vonnegut style, like unstuck in time.
Mhm.
Everything happens at once, which I enjoyed how they did that with all the planets. It
Yeah.
felt a little hackneyed, but it was effective. It
Mhm.
worked. I got the point of it. So
Yeah, yeah, I liked how they incorporated all the Marvel twists, or the Marvel like quotes from past movies, and I understood they were trying to say like the history of not just the Marvel universe, but Earth in this universe is going to change. But
I
like,
would have liked if they just done
yeah,
like real world quotes or Marvel quotes.
yeah, just pick one because like the Marvel world changing does not impact the real world in
Our
any way possible. Like,
once again, as much as our the same message we had to the people behind Falcon and Winter Soldier,
mhm.
there's very little real world parallel with all this stuff.
Yeah, it's
They
like
keep trying to force it, but it's very hard to
I think
really.
Marvel, since they have such a wide audience, is just trying to say like we have a big impact on the real world.
Yeah,
And
see
it's
that's the thing.
like,
I was wondering, I was like, is this supposed to be like set in our world? But also, some of these quotes are important things. It's like,
yes.
oh, I get in this universe, right? I can't imagine like jokes that one superhero made to another. The average person doesn't know what that was. They don't
No,
remember that because that was a private moment between two people.
right. Yeah, it's like just make your movies about people throwing like frisbees made out of expensive
Out of
metal.
expensive metal. You don't
Yeah.
have to. You really don't have to because when you do, it's always gonna feel phony.
Yeah. Um so I want to ask you, so Jonathan Majors is the actor who played He Who Remains. He's also been cast as the villain Kang the Conqueror in
Teenage
Ant-Man
Mutant Turtles?
3.
Oh, Ant-Man 3.
And what'd you say?
I was gonna say Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I got
Yes,
that
and
was
Teenage Mutant
Krang,
Ninja
right?
Turtles. And what?
I think that was Krang actually in those in that.
Oh, okay. Um
I never watched it.
so he basically his whole thing was explaining other variants of himself are going to
Mhm.
come for every universe kind of now that the timeline's all messed up because Loki and Sylvie messed it up when Sylvie killed the version the He Who Remains. Uh I
So
get it
maybe
was only
maybe the villain of Ant-Man is like a variant of.
yeah, he will be. I think that was kind of the point of him explaining that like his variant is going to be a big villain.
And another thing, so spoiler alert.
Yes, spoiler. Well,
He
yeah, kind of late for that, but yes.
like well, spoiler alert for he says the reason why you can't kill me is because the variants will come forth and start a multiversional war.
Yes.
Sylvie eventually does kill him,
Mhm.
and he smiles. He says, "You'll see me again."
Mhm.
Chuckles a bit.
Chuckles a little bit.
We see Loki. He runs to Owen Wilson. He says, "Stop! Wait!" I kind of like the scene. It reminded me a bit like at the end of all those '70s sci-fi movies. There's a bit where, like Invasion of the Body Snatchers, you have Donald Sutherland running through the town, and he's like, "Guys, you have to believe me. Things aren't right." And we have a little bit one of those. And I was really hoping it wasn't going to be like I was hoping this wasn't going to end with being like, "Oh no, everything's okay. Don't worry. Look, I really didn't want because I remember checking the time and I was like, there's 6 minutes left on this. I hope they
Yeah.
don't do some contrived thing. And no, it turns out he was right. The variants are taking over. There's a statue of the variant in the middle of the TVA headquarters.
Mhm.
And I thought it was cool. I thought it was interesting.
That was probably the best part of the finale for me, just him
Yeah.
like looking up and like I don't know what movie it ends in, but it's like
And
when a
yeah,
movie ends
right.
badly and there's like a
I think it's Planet of the Apes you're thinking of.
I haven't seen Planet of the Apes. I'm trying to think of like a movie that
That's
kind of
like the Statue of
ends.
Liberty up.
Yeah, it's like, and there's just like an image of like the villain or something the villain did to leave you with, kind of. Like that was cool. That was a
Yeah.
very cool moment.
I liked how it ended with with a bit of an all is lost moment. I was like, I like that. That's got me intrigued to see part two.
Yeah.
I hope
Um,
they keep this going.
what do you think of the He
Once
Who
again,
Remains
daring
character?
but familiar.
Yeah. So the He Who Remains character, what I kind of felt like they did with Jonathan Majors was they were kind of just like, this isn't the real version of the character you're actually going to be playing for a while. So just kind of take this one and do whatever you want with it. Cause his like performance kind of felt like improvised to me, I guess.
Yeah, there's a lot of like
If you can hear thunder, I apologize.
a storm is advancing up the East Coast right now.
Yes, it's a brewing.
But what was I saying? I mentioned earlier, I think James Woods is Hades in Hercules,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what he kind of reminded me of, like just a very mundane bad guy, a
Yeah.
very like jokey, shticky. He's doing uh, again familiar. It's very reminiscent of like I don't know what other like the jokey bad guys like. Uh,
Um, I don't know.
you at home.
I know what you're talking about, but I can't think of any specific ones right now.
Yeah, you know what I mean. He's like laughing. He's like, "Oh, you can kill me, but it won't make a difference."
Yeah.
It's like every Wallace Shawn performance.
Ha. Yeah. Yeah. One of those.
One of those,
One of those.
and I
Um,
didn't dislike it. I thought
I didn't dislike
one,
it.
it was kind of one note, but also, I mean, he's in there for 20 minutes, so
Exactly.
if that was his stick throughout the entire series, it would have gotten pretty graining.
Yes, that's my biggest thing with it. Like if that was the character that was going to be the villain of the rest of like phase whatever of Marvel, I would have been like, what are we doing here? It was
Yeah,
one episode, so it was fine.
right. Yeah,
And
exactly. It was like it's one note. It works. The note works here.
mm-hmm.
Like, it is more interesting, I guess, than just having him be like another.
Ooh, I'm evil and I've been
Yeah,
running the TVA.
him to be like Thanos, Dark Side, whatever,
Yeah.
big muscly guy.
Mm-hmm.
It was very Wizard of Oz. Like he's
Yeah.
kind of like a bit of a sort of clownish figure. I read that the actor um, had clown training, and he used the
Really?
part. Yeah, he had clowning training.
Really? Does he drive a clown car?
I wonder. I think it's
Do
part of the training is you have to figure out how to fit into.
Do you think like him, Owen Wilson, and like maybe Tom Hiddleston like carpooled to film that episode in a clown car?
Yeah, they carpooled the entire cast. They carpooled in a tiny little,
Yeah.
you know, Fiat Mini Cooper.
Do you think cast members in movies carpool?
I would be surprised if they all lived next to each other. But I guess if you're shooting like on location somewhere, then I guess everyone's staying in a hotel, so they
That's
got
what I'm yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, like do you think like Brad Pitt texted Leo when they were filming Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and were like,
Well, that was all filmed in
be ready
LA.
in 15 minutes.
I don't know enough about Hollywood actors to say, but I mean that was all filmed in LA, so maybe they just went back
Yeah.
to their homes.
Or they just walked there.
Maybe that was his house. That was like the Roman Polanski house.
I wouldn't be shocked. Um
Like Leonardo DiCaprio lives in a better house than that.
yeah, it's possible.
It's possible. I don't know what.
Anyway, clown cars. Um
This is the second 2001: A Space Odyssey reference, by the way, in
really?
the Marvel. I think so. I think that was supposed to be a 2001: Space Odyssey reference with
Okay.
the all those when they're going through the tunnel and all the
Mhm.
little lights are flashing, running at the audience.
Mhm.
Because they do a similar thing in WandaVision when
Right.
uh
She's going through Monica's going through
portal.
the border.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So second 2001: A Space Odyssey reference. You gotta step up your reference game, Marvel.
Yeah, step it up.
Unless I need to step up my reference game, and they're both referencing something else.
That could be possible. Maybe it's just all a big misunderstanding.
I know. And if so, please write to us, writers of Loki,
Yeah.
and I will send you a gift basket.
All right. Um I saw Black Widow. If just continuing the Marvel conversation, I saw Black Widow at a drive-in movie theater, and I then saw Cruella right after it. So I'll talk about that too. Um, I'll talk about the movie quickly because Evan hasn't seen it, and I'll also avoid spoilers, just like a general not review, I guess, but thoughts. I thought it was all right. I liked the first 20 minutes a lot. It starts with like this isn't really a spoiler. It starts with some flashback of Black Widow younger, with her family. And I thought that stuff was pretty interesting. Um, Evan, how vague do you want me to keep this? I'll just ask you that
You
first.
can get honestly, you could even like do any level of spoilers that you want to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, I liked that stuff. I like when they focused on that stuff. They don't focus on it very much. The rest of the movie is a lot of action, and uh, it's fine. But I've probably said this previously. There's not a lot of stakes in this movie. Black Widow is dead. We know she's dead. We know she's not coming back. And I feel like when they made this movie, since they made it after she died, it's like not that Marvel made that like knowing it. I don't know how to say what I'm thinking.
And it's very much like tying up all loose ends. They kind of knew
Yes.
that this was a project that wasn't going to go to another
Hmm.
depth. They knew
Yes.
this was the end of the line, so they're kind of like it felt a little like thrown together. You think, or
It
like
was kind of thrown together because it was like, okay, this is so it picks up right after Civil War, right after when she's like on the run from the government, but she's not with Captain America or Falcon, which she is at the start of Infinity War when they show up. Um, if they showed some of those events, I think it would have been hard to make it a Black Widow movie you cared about because you'd probably care a lot about Captain America. So I get why they made it just a Black Widow solo movie. But I mean, I think they know this. They waited way too long to make the movie. If they made it after Civil War, I would have cared. But like Black Widow kind of uses the time she has when she's on the run to, like you said, tie up the loose ends. And basically, the villain of the movie is like not Taskmaster, who we see in the trailer. Like Taskmaster is a villain in the movie, but the villain they're going after is the guy who started like the Black Widow program, I guess it's called.
mm,
And it's like
the gods are getting angry at you for
they're
speaking
getting pretty angry at me. I should,
about
yeah,
the favorite film.
yeah. It's just like it's like Black Widow getting justice, but it's like I don't know how much I care about that. Um, I like the character of Black Widow. I liked her a lot in Endgame, especially. I thought that was her best movie. Um, but yeah, I don't know. It's just tough to care, and I tried my best. I think maybe I didn't. Maybe it sounds like I didn't. Um,
I get it, where
it's
it's
not
kind
a
of
bad movie though. It's
they're
just
acting
lower tier
towards
Marvel.
they're acting towards a null conclusion,
Hmm.
and it feels definitely like it was built from backwards. It was built
Yes,
like they could do
yes.
whatever they wanted, and
They very clearly came up with this plot after she died, not after Civil War,
I kind of like.
when it takes place.
I prefer that. I would rather. I would. I think I would rather they do that with. It would be kind of if they did the movie as it might have intended the plot have been intended to be before they killed the character off.
Hmm.
I don't know if it would have been as good
Yeah.
because the way you're describing it kind of makes it sound a bit interesting to me because this is the first one where they're like, okay, well, we know this is the end of the character.
Yeah.
We don't have to be like important things await. It's like you know what awaits,
Hmm.
or what else is it awaits her isn't stuff you need to see,
Yeah.
which sounds interesting. That sounds something like intriguing. Though the rest of what you're describing makes it sound like instead of doing that, they kind of opted for sort of a general malaise, a general like, eh. This was a very movie.
Yes. It's very eh. I would say.
Throw it in. Just throw it in.
And I get like the character of Black Widow has been through a lot when she's younger and stuff and wants to get the revenge, but it's like it's not a it's if what they were trying to do was send off the character since she's not going to be in anything else, like Scarlett Johansson's probably not coming back for anything, at least for a very long time.
Yeah, do you think it's a proper send off
I
for her?
don't know. It's Marvel's issue is they spend a lot of time setting up the next thing, which is fine. Like the
But
post
in
credit
the
scenes,
absence of being able to set up a next thing, it's like there's not much else left.
they shouldn't. I don't. Yeah, like I liked Florence Pugh's character a lot. It's setting up her a lot, like especially the post credit scene, which is pretty interesting actually. But I don't know, like I feel like if you're gonna make a Black Widow movie, it shouldn't be set up.
Yeah.
Um, it should be like if it's a send off to the character, show us like the coolest stuff she's done. And the stuff she does in this movie is cool. It's just not like I don't know. I don't know if what I'm saying is even making sense anymore.
Well, it's like you're sending her off and you're not showing anything impressive or interesting. It's
Yeah,
like in
because
the
you
app
know the outcome.
in the absence of being able to like set up something, it just feels very hollow and
Hmm.
very instead of trying to do their own thing or just making this like a standalone style movie.
Yes.
I don't have to tie it into anything. It's just a standalone story. They didn't. It sounds like they didn't do it. This is a very interesting thing because I'm kind of trying to review the movie without having seen it,
Yes.
based on
And
secondhand.
I'm sure you'll either have like same similar thoughts or maybe conflicting thoughts. I'm trying to verbalize what I'm thinking and not doing a great job of it. At the end of the day, I just thought the movie was kind of it was fine. Like it's not a bad movie. It's just like I don't know. It's just it's not my favorite. Uh it's definitely lower tier Marvel, I would say. And I guess I'll leave it at that.
I'm seeing the film tonight, so
Yeah.
the jury will be in on it next
Yes.
week, or probably just like on Letterboxd if I forget. So,
Mhm.
uh,
I think if you feel about the movie similarly to me, you'll hate what they do with the one villain, Taskmaster.
his name is Taskmaster.
Well, I don't know if they even call I don't even know if they say it in the movie, but that's like who it's
The
supposed to
tiny little
be.
clip.
Yeah, like
He help you like
Taskmaster.
close uh out of different like programs and stuff like that? Does he help you
Yeah.
like move clutter on your
Yeah.
life? He's like
Like
an evil programming like
yeah.
task manager where he comes out and he's like, "Hoo, you should delete this file. Oh no, it's the file that has your wedding photos in it." And
Yeah,
that's his whole thing.
what Taskmaster does is this isn't the twist. It's like
He tells you to press Alt
Taskmaster,
F4.
yes, and he's a perfect mimic of the Avengers, basically. Like he knows exactly how to fight like them. He has like not a Captain America shield, but like a kind of shield. He uses a bow and arrow at one point. They hit all the bases to be like, oh, remember how Iron Man does this thing? This
Yeah.
villain does that too. And it's like,
It's
so yeah.
always a big who cares. I always see it used to be a big who cares, but now I'm realizing I guess billions of people care about this and
Yep.
they'll eat
Everyone's
any
like,
flop you
oh my
put in.
gosh, they did the thing.
Hey, that's like that other movie I watched.
Yeah. And it's like, we know, man. We've, if we wanted to watch that movie, we'd watch that movie.
Warner Brothers made a 1.5 hour movie that came out this year that's entirely based on the premise of, hey, I saw those cartoons. Hey,
Yeah.
I watched that movie.
Yeah. I have no clue what you're talking about. Maybe Zack Snyder's Justice League. That's the only one
Definitely,
that comes to mind. Definitely.
it's definitely that one.
Yeah. Yeah. Not Big Chungus.
I think that movie did have Big Chungus in it, didn't it?
It might have. I think you're referring to Aquaman though. So
Oh yeah, sorry, I did not mean to body shame you, Jason Momoa.
yeah, I'm sure he goes through that a lot. So
You know,
thank
he's
you for
definitely
apologizing.
the image issues, of course.
Yeah.
But
I also saw Cruella, and I'll talk about this really quickly because Black Widow started at 9 o'clock at the drive-in movie theater. So I was like kind of tired by the time it ended. The whole movie of Cruella, I was pretty tired because it ended at like it's a long movie, by the way, much longer than I thought it was going to. It was probably longer than Black Widow.
greater, greater or less than 2 hours?
I think it's like 2 hours 20 minutes.
Oh no,
It's
no.
every time I thought the movie was about to end, it didn't. So that's
Two hours,
an
140 minutes of Cruella.
I'm gonna look this up. I might have been wrong.
Can't be right. A
It
hundred. I mean,
is,
like, I don't put it past them to do, but
yeah, it is. Where can I find this?
134 minutes versus Black Widow's 100 and the same amount of time.
Yeah, 2 hours 14 minutes. Yeah. They
Both of them.
also both have post-credit scenes.
Well,
Yes,
is
both.
so Cruella, Rise of the Dalmatian. How did you
Yes.
feel about it?
Well, okay. Not to compare the two movies, because they're obviously different movies, but they're both made by Disney. They're both like female main
Okay.
characters, so I don't think it's too far fetched to compare them. I liked Cruella more.
Really?
Um,
This is the
I
rise of the century.
yeah, everyone knows I'm a big. If you listen to this, you know I'm a big Emma Stone fan. She's my favorite actress because La La Land's my favorite movie.
Star of La La Land.
Yes, and I
La La.
love Crazy Stupid Love and the other movies she's in, like the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies. But
I think you're the only person in the world whose favorite Spider-Man movies are those.
n- no, I wouldn't say they're my favorites. I just have I have a soft spot for them because I uh I don't know.
Hey, they've got Emma Stone in them, and Andrew Garfield's. They don't suffer from poor casting of
No,
anything
no,
that those films suffer from. They are very well.
yeah. Jamie Foxx, notoriously one of the best comic book villains of all time.
They had Dennis Leary wasn't bad in the first one.
He was the lizard, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it wasn't
Dane DeHaan as Harry wasn't terrible.
that he
When he
wasn't
turned
bad,
into the Green Goblin, it was.
but I just remember how much I rolled my eyes when they like defeated Electro, and it's
And I
like,
was like,
oh, we're done, and then he literally like swoops in from off screen. He's like, Peter. I remember this one scene where he figures out that Peter's Spider-Man because like he sees
yes.
there with Gwen Stacy, and he goes, huh, huh,
Yeah.
Peter.
Yeah.
His movies are so ridiculous.
They are really ridiculous. Um,
And then she falls, like he breaks her neck, and there's like
yeah, she falls a
3
pretty
dots for
far
like
amount.
breaking. And it goes like snap, snap, snap.
And it's in like slow-mo too. He like shoots the
Yeah.
web and it like
And it
doesn't
turns
hit
into a
her
little
until
hand.
she falls. Yeah.
It turns into a little hand that grabs her, and it's edited like a saw trap.
That's like a very it was a very far fall.
I know.
How did she even fall? Did the Green Goblin like
Goblin
throw
like
her?
he drops her through the tower.
I guess so. Because
It
I
it
think it
happens
was the Green Goblin that killed her.
it happens in the comic books as well.
Oh, it
He
does.
drops her from off of the George Washington Bridge, and then Spider-Man like uses his web to grab her.
He
He
swings and
grabs her by
misses.
the leg, and the sudden stop breaks her.
So technically, Spider-Man's
Spider-Man
responsible.
murdered Gwen
Yeah.
Stacy. Yes, this actually
This
happens.
actually,
Gwen
yeah.
Stacy dies because of Spider-Man's just poor knowledge of physics.
Yes. And isn't Spider-Man supposed to be a nerd? Shouldn't he have these things
Yeah,
mapped out?
I'm sure he wasn't thinking about that. He's like, "Oh, my girlfriend's dying," and then kills her. Hey, I have this little rope You can put it around your neck and that'll stop you from falling. Oh
Mhm.
no!
Mhm.
They do it in the first Spider-Man as well, but then she doesn't actually die.
Mhm.
Mary Jane, they do it too. Not
Mary Jane.
Mary.
Um. So Cruella. Why did I like it?
Right.
There were a couple good twists. The most hilarious part was when, okay, spoilers.
Okay.
Uh, her mom got
I heard about this on Twitter, and that made me go, okay, maybe I have to see this movie.
so
But 134 minutes scared me away.
so the way the movie starts out is like it starts with her as a little girl, and she's like going to her mom at this one party. I forget why they're going. I think the mom worked for like the Baroness. The Baroness is kind of like the villain of the movie. I forget the actress that plays her. Um, but but the mom like messes up something for the Baroness, and then the Baroness like brings her out to this like bridge, which is like by a it's under the bridge is like a big waterfall pretty much. And then the Baroness is kind of like brings out the dogs kind of, and it's Dalmatians, and they just kind of like shove her over the edge and she just falls and dies.
They see, it's literally her family was murdered by Dalmatians.
Yes.
A Dalmatian killed my family.
And there's a tweet on Twitter from
Like,
um from this one YouTuber I watched, the Cosmonaut Variety Hour, one of my favorite YouTubers. And he tweeted like a couple weeks before the movie came out. He was like, "How much do you want to bet that Cruella movie has a the dogs killed my mom, the Dalmatians killed my mom scene?" And it has like 40,000 likes. It's pretty funny.
hey, that's a good that prediction. I wouldn't have even predicted that because it's
I
too
wouldn't
scary.
have either.
It's like I'm trying to think of are there any movies recently that do that like unironically?
Yeah.
In like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, that happens, but it's like a joke, you know?
Hmm.
It's like, why do you hate Toons? He goes, Toon killed his brother, dropped a piano on his head. And that's like a joke. That's like a joke that
Hmm.
happens. And I guess it later turns on to be a plot point, but like
No,
not
they're
not,
like
not
serious about it.
stressed. But this one, it's like now she has Dalmatian PTSD, I guess.
Yes, pretty much. Yeah, it's like because Cruella, her whole thing is like she ends up working for the Baroness, and she wants like an in with the fashion world, and
Mm,
the Baroness is like the big fashion world person,
uber
and
person, I guess.
and as she starts working for the Baroness, she creates this Cruella character who becomes the rival of the Baroness. And she goes to like the parties the Baroness has as Cruella, not Ella, who is just Emma Stone with red hair.
Oh god,
Yes.
like in that Cinderella remake, where it's like,
Yes.
oh, her name's Ella, but she's always covered in trash and ashes, so they call her Cinderella.
Yes.
Oh,
I
so
forget if it's Ella. It might be something else. But
so she's like Ella in her fursona, if you will. It's
yes.
cruel
Yes.
Ella.
Yes. And so she kind of becomes like this big star and people were like, "Who is it?" and stuff like that. Anyway, I just thought the movie was like kind of good. It takes itself a little too seriously at times, I guess, but like
I was wondering, is it like camp? All the trailers made it look like Batman Returns. Does it kind of follow a similar tone, kind of like gothic, but like campy, and like it takes itself seriously, but like you, the audience, don't really take it seriously. That kind of
it's
thing.
not unfunny. Like the two I forget what the two characters are, the like two guys that are kind of
I feel like
stupid.
the henchman doesn't she? I know
Yeah.
Bill as henchman in the movie 101 Dalmatians.
Like they're
Like,
decently funny. Um and the Baroness isn't like a bad villain either. There's a good twist with that, and yeah, I don't know. I just kind of it was kind of like a just like not a feel good movie, but like I don't know.
I was hoping it'd be
It
a
was
feel
different.
movie.
What'd you
How
say?
dark is it? I was hoping it would be really dark. That would be one thing that could like, if it had a little bit of like bite, a little bit of venom.
Um, it's not like really dark, but I wouldn't say it's like the most lighthearted movie, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think it's not a kids movie,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not like a rated R movie either,
13
obviously. I think it's PG-13. Uh,
swears, you know.
there's like some violence maybe that I could see it being PG-13 for.
Well, a mother gets pushed to her death.
Right? Yeah, it's a gory scene. It's a gory sight.
She like gets pushed to death. She like gets torn apart at the. See, it
Yeah.
would be learning that's how the Dominations killed her. I assumed that there was like a scene where she gets like eaten alive by dogs.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
thought that would be cool. That would
Right.
be amazing. I would give this movie 5 out of 5 stars if there's a scene where someone gets eaten alive by Dalmatians.
Hmm.
Don't
Well,
tell me if there is a scene with that.
well, you're in luck because there's going to be a sequel, so the possibility of that happening is possibly there.
So, Disney, if you're looking, once again, we make our plea to Hollywood, Disney.
Hmm.
If you're looking for screenwriters
Right.
who can write a pretty good scene in which a person gets violently killed by being eaten alive by Dalmatians,
Which
then
Disney does
hire
specialize in.
hire the young Blackwell screenwriting duo. We're just like the
Hmm.
Coen brothers, but less good.
Yes, I would say so. Maybe it's because I was really tired, but I didn't think the movie was as bad as I thought it was going to be.
They could have
It's
been.
fine. It's fine, but it's better than Black Widow in my opinion.
Hmm.
Yeah.
This really is the surprise of the century. I think this is the most
Yeah.
surprising thing you've ever told me this podcast.
I would watch it again. I truly would.
So
Um
I saw one movie,
yes, yes you did.
The Forever Purge.
Mhm. Not just the
Um,
purge, the forever
So the plot, in quotes, the purge has ended. Some people though are like, no, we're going to keep purging,
purge.
kind of like a riot. And
Massive purge enthusiasts.
yeah, big purge enthusiasts. It's like so the whole thing. It's like a lot of really clumsy political satire. There's
Mhm.
one scene where I remember like the rich boss basically explains like the labor theory of value like in very intricately and stuff like that, and I'm like, can you give me a break? I mean, you're gonna it's all of these movies were always, I guess, heavy-handed political satire,
Mhm.
and it's not like I really too much disagree with any of the messages of this movie,
Mhm.
but it's like it's so heavy, it's so outlandish. So the villains are these rogue purgers who are like some, far right white supremacist guys. Um, and it's just the whole thing's a mess. It's not very good. It's not very violent. That was one thing I was hoping for. I was hoping for a lot of violence, and it wasn't really.
Mhm.
I give this film a lame out of 5.
Lame out of 5. Okay.
Yeah. I would wait until TV. If
Okay.
you're thinking of watching it, wait till TV.
Okay. I wasn't thinking about watching it, but thank you.
Yeah. And it wasn't the worst. This is one of I've seen this one. I saw the first Purge. I can't remember if I saw Purge 2 or 3. I saw the one that's election year. That was the
Okay.
other one. But of these movies, this one feels like the worst.
Okay. Do you have a
It just
purge tier list?
yeah.
Okay.
Genuinely, genuinely just kind of
Eh.
ve- the film.
Okay.
Once again, bring back to Quiet Place Part 2,
Mhm.
bring back scary horror movies. Horror
Yeah.
movies that are scary. I need more of them.
All right. Speaking of scary things, in the works at Paramount Plus is Grease: Rise of the Pink Ladies. How excited are you for this? It's a Pink Ladies series spin-off of their origin story,
Is
Ride Li.
is See, I genuinely don't understand what's meant by that. Is it
Yeah.
like how this clique started? Is it like an explanation of like the socioeconomic conditions of like 1950s Chicago living? Is it like what is this supposed to? What's the rise of the pink? We talked about it before, but they make it sound like a Transformers movie with the rise of the Pink Ladies.
Yeah.
What's the rise of power when it's the locale is a high school?
Hmm.
And I feel like we already know the beginning, middle, and end of the Pink Ladies from watching Grease.
Right.
That's all we need to know
They're
about.
very stereotypical characters.
Well, that's what you think, you know. Inside of the Pink Ladies,
Hmm.
inside Pink Lady.
Hmm.
Uh, I don't like that. When you take a deeper examination of uh, the Pink Lady archetype,
Yeah.
you discover there's much more than meets the eye. You discover
Okay.
that the Pink Ladies are multifaceted characters. You know, one
Right.
they have their battle with the Blue Boys
Yeah. Yeah. Of course.
that ends in a big shootout.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm making it up, but I imagine what I'm making up is going to be better than the final product.
I hope it's like The Outsiders where they have like gang wars and like
Yeah, one of the Pink Ladies gets stabbed.
yeah.
The Crimson Ladies.
I hope no, I hope it's like they start off and they're like a whole crew and then there's like this one girl that's not in Greece that's actually the leader of the Pink Ladies, but she is a tragic death.
And they're like, we're going to avenge you by
Yes.
sticking by the T-Birds.
Hmm. And then they make the
And the
pink
T-Birds
jackets.
are the gang, right?
The
They're like
T-Birds are led by Danny. Yes.
the rebels.
Yeah.
See, I don't really know Greece that well, but the Pink Ladies, are they like the popular girls or are they like the rebel girls?
Uh well, Rizzo is kind of like a rebel, but I feel
She's
like
a member of them. Isn't she friends with them?
yes, I feel like they're a mixture of both.
I think that I remember again. You were in Grease the musical.
I was.
I have not seen anything. I saw the musical at my high school
Yeah.
years ago.
I've heard
So
my performance is getting much buzz on YouTube, by the way.
yeah, it's gotten at least one more view than it did this morning.
Yeah, that's
But
all that matters.
I feel like the Pink Ladies were maybe that's why. I feel like they were very not. They were just kind of every female character in Grease
Yeah.
Lady. That's all it is. All the named female characters in the movie.
Yeah, you
So
kind of yeah, yeah.
except
I mean,
Sandy.
there's not much to them.
Well, that's what we're gonna learn. We're
I
gonna learn.
guess so, yeah.
Why is it called Rise of the Pink Ladies? Like it's some kind of dynasty instead of like a high school. I feel like in the sequel to Grease 2, the Pink Ladies aren't even around anymore.
Yeah, probably not. I haven't
Fall of
seen
the Pink
Grease 2.
Ladies would be way more
The
interesting.
fall of the downfall. They get
All of their
exiled.
pink skirts, they got stained and they couldn't get it out.
Right, right. Um,
Maybe there's a scene where they all have like white skirts and they like wash them and someone leaves like a
red sock.
like a red sock and
And then they're
that's
like, this actually works out perfect.
no, they go, this is hideous, and they all claw each other to death, and the survivors and their blood gets on the skirts, and
Right.
that's how they get pink skirts.
I think we just cracked the code for how to start that series.
A gang of Pinkerton detectives pushed the mom off a cliff, and that's why they become.
What do you think the pitch meeting was like for that? Do you like you think someone was like, I know what we need?
I think there were two computers, and they were like, we're initializing top performed musicals in high school. Grease #1.
Right.
Then a guy came in with a bunch of papers and was like, good news, everyone. Grease is selling like hotcakes. and they kind of threw. They had like a spinning wheel. They were like, okay, Grease 2,
Yeah.
Rise of the Pink Ladies. Oh,
Like a dartboard.
yeah. I don't know why I said that they have a spinning wheel and that I had throwing darts.
Yeah.
Throwing darts at a spinning wheel.
I think someone came in and was like, guys, the Grease audience is at an all-time high. It's larger than it's ever been before. We have to strike
America's
while the iron
easier
is
than
hot.
ever before.
Yeah. So I think that's what they're doing. And honestly, good on them. I know the Grease fandom is clamoring for this show.
Really cashing in on the Grease head
Yeah, the
wave
Grease.
of 2021. This is just a simple cash in on the Grease fan.
Yeah.
who who is this for? Who remembers Grease and is also like watching whatever what's this going to be on?
Paramount Plus.
Yeah, who's watching like shows like Riverdale and stuff like that,
Yeah.
but also remembers the movie Grease?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It's going to be an interesting one for sure. I wonder who
Well,
they're going to cast.
you're gonna cast you, of course, as
They're going
young
to cast
Danny.
me. I'll be
Yeah,
Danny. Okay.
yeah.
I'll have a cameo though, and then you'll hear like the audience go like, "Whoa!" Like how they usually do when there's like a guest appearance in a child's show.
Maybe this is gonna be set like after Grease. There's
Yeah.
gonna be a line where they're like, "Hey, you hear that Danny Zuko
Hmm.
died in a car crash mere seconds after the movie ended?" You hear they
And then
both
they all
died
sing a
in a horrible
song at his
crash.
funeral. Yeah.
No, like it starts with the "We Go Together," you know, when they get in the car and it flies away. Then, like
5 seconds later.
it crashes into the side of a building, and then the first song is like at Danny and Sandy's funeral.
Danny died later that day.
Danny died. Danny died on impact. Sandy was rushed to the hospital where she was pronounced dead hours later. And then Rise of the Pink Ladies in pink text appears on screen in front of an establishing shot of a high school.
And
Everyone's
it's
dressed.
like, guys, Danny is gone. We need a new leader in town. We need a pink lady in charge.
And then the Pink Ladies take over, and then they're the kings of the town.
Yeah, they rise.
Maybe this is like a modern take,
Mm-hmm.
and there's like a gang of people who are like, "Hey, our grandmas are pink ladies," and they're like, "We're gonna bring that." Now that I think about it, that's the most likely outcome of what this
Mm-hmm.
is. It's like a bunch of modern day teens, and they're like, "Hey, to your grandma Doris, they're part of this gang called the Pink Ladies." And in this one, it's gonna be like, I don't know, pink, like Lululemon leggings,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the Pink Ladies.
That's what they've become now.
Yeah,
They've progressed past the need for the jackets.
for the jackets and the mini skirts and the
Yeah.
like
All
the
right.
poodle skirts that got little poodles on them.
Yeah.
Was that a thing that anyone ever wore?
I don't know.
Viewers who are above the age of 60, answering.
That's a good amount of our audience.
Yeah, I think that is.
Um, real quick, the Emmy nominations happened, but the only one that matters is Don Cheadle getting nominated for his really just
Could have been more than 3 minutes of screen time.
earth-shattering appearance in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
This is a Glenn Ross situation, if I've ever heard
Yeah.
of.
I forgot he was in that show. I'm going to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, he was in like one episode, and it
He was
was
in the
like
first
one
episode.
conversation he had with Anthony Mackie, and then he's gone forever.
What does this say about the people who nominate the Emmys?
They watched episode 1, and they're like, they
Don
watched
Cheadle
episode.
clearly plays an important role in the show.
Yeah, no, they were like supposed to watch the whole show, but they just watched the first episode, and they're like, "Hey, who do you want to nominate?" And he was like, Don Cheadle." Not
Wow,
really.
I can't wait where to see where they go with that Don Cheadle plot point.
he's like pretending like at like the water cooler. He's like, yeah, what they do with Don Cheadle is so cool. And they're like, you mean in the one episode? And he's like, yeah. In that one episode, it was a great performance. Did you watch the show? And they just kind of yes-anded each other because no one at the Emmy headquarters has watched all of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. They just all yes-anded each other until he got an Emmy nom.
Yeah, yeah. That's how I imagine it went. Oh, that really got me. That's good. So yeah. Congrats, Jonathan. Um,
The Cannes Film Festival was also this week.
yeah, that was. I don't have much on that other than
There was a picture of a bunch of Wes Anderson people became a meme. And
that's a
then,
pretty good one.
Barry's
I
going to be in the next Wes Anderson movie.
yeah
Color shocked. I hope they're a good match together.
yeah. I've heard the new Adam Driver movie is very good though. I think it won the most awards or whatever.
Yeah,
So that's cool. Um,
he sings.
I want before we do our letterbox reviews, I want to introduce a new part to the show, and this is going to be rest in peace. And the rest in peace award will be given out each week for the letterbox reviews. Um, to who is resting in peace the most this week. And this week, rest in peace, Drake Bell. Except not actually, because he did some bad things.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna be resting anytime soon, and I really don't think it's gonna
Or
be
in
in any kind of
peace.
peace.
Yeah. So, Drake Bell will be in prison for at least 2 years, it seems.
For
So yeah.
endangering that child.
Wait, so he got 2 years of parole. That's what it is, right?
Oh, so he's free then,
So
basically,
is
right?
he free? Okay. I'm not caught up in the prison world lingo. I'm gonna be quite honest. Prison world lingo. I'm gonna be quite honest.
But wow, he's free now. He's out endangering children once more.
Yeah. Hide your children. That's the message.
Hide your
So,
kids, hide your wives. Drake Bell's in town.
yeah. So that's the rest in peace
That's an
award of the
AMD
week.
if you guys.
Um, would you like to read some reviews?
Yes. Do you want to
Okay.
start?
Yeah, I'll start. Um, my first review is from. This is a dual review. I'll read them both at once because they're both Marvel properties. This is for Loki and Black Widow.
Mm-hmm.
The one for Loki says, "Why do I keep watching these?" The one for Black Widow says, "Black Widow by Iggy Azalea didn't play once. They're a loss, I guess." And I can confirm this to be true. They they use some music in like the first
Did they
half
do that song
hour of
that's
this movie.
like a Black Widow baby?
Yes,
That
that one.
they used it in there.
No, they don't. They play like 5 seconds of a Sia song. They play um there's a cover of Smells Like Teen Spirit in the opening credits. It's very edgy. Um and I forget the other song they let me find it real quick. But my only thing is like if you're going to be using some popular songs, use the song named after the character in the movie, right?
I
Isn't
don't
that
think
logical?
I don't think it was named after the character.
I know. But there's no songs named like Spider-Man or like Captain America, right?
The Iron Man.
Oh yeah.
There's the song Iron Man. They used that in the movie.
Did they?
Yeah,
Who's the song by? Black Sabbath?
yeah.
Oh yes, you're right. You're right. So then why
I
didn't so clearly they know it
I just
exists.
forgot.
Yeah.
The movie came out and they're like, "Hey, we forgot to use that song."
Yeah.
Oh well, we
Go
can put it on
back.
DVD.
and then when it gets released, it'll be like the Black Widow, the Black Widow cut.
Yeah. Even blacker and widowier.
Oh, American Pie. That's the song.
Oh.
Yeah, they use that song in the movie like a decent amount.
Every film should include a scene where the main character walks in slow motion to Seven Nation Army.
Yes, that's one of my favorite songs of all time. I'm not even gonna lie.
I don't even really know like how it ends. I just know it's great to be played over slow motion.
Bum, 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 bum. Yeah.
I thought we were gonna do a duet right there.
Oh, we almost did, but we might get fined by
Oh, that's true.
Jack White. So,
I know. Get your stripes off of us.
hmm
So, my review is for Space Jam: A New Legacy.
mm.
Uh, Niemund gives it 5 stars
Mhm.
and says, "Awful movie, a
Sounds.
classic bait and switch."
Yeah, yeah. One of those. One of those. I also have my next two reviews for Space Jam: A New Legacy. The first one being Don Cheadle, word of the day, pain, score, not good out of 10. This is a half-star review from Raspberry Cowboy.
Raspberry Cowboy.
Yeah.
That's the name of my new band.
Really?
Yeah.
Happy for you.
We play bubblegum pop country.
Okay. Where do
uh,
you fit into that band? Are you on the keys?
yeah, I play. I'm actually playing the bass guitar.
Okay. Do you drop
I
the
only know
bass?
one song on bass guitar, and it's "You Can Call Me Al." So I rewrite all of our songs to fit the bass line of "You Can Call Me Al."
It's probably a real scenario in some bands. The guy's like, I only know this one song.
We write it
So
to be more like this.
so as similar as we can stay to that song, the better. Or we can just do like different covers of that song. Like switch out like
Different
now
version
you're
of that song.
yeah, like switch out like all right, now the guy who plays piano is the lead singer for this cover.
I could dig an album like that. Like you release an
Yeah.
album where it's got like all the songs are sung by different people.
Mhm. Yeah.
One song is a bunch of different times. A good concept. I don't know if anyone would want it.
Solid concept.
So the next review comes from Musashi,
Oh.
who gives Space Jam: A New Legacy 5 stars, likes it, and says, "I'm LeBron James."
LeBron James. I hope they say that in Space Jam because it seems they're not afraid of the pop culture references. So,
Well, the whole movie is a pop culture reference, so
right, right. LeBron James. All right. My last review is also from Space Jam: A New Legacy. This is the top review on Letterboxd. So if you're on that app, you maybe you've seen this one already, but it's a 2-star review from Cobra Rocky. And it says, Bugs turns into Big Chungus, and a kid in the theater lost his mind so hard his mother had to take him outside. I forgot the entire film on the drive home. I'm just imagining this scenario for like how old is the kid? Is the kid like laughing really hard or is he yelling?
the kid was 17 years old.
Yeah. See, I'm not gonna lie. If I was seeing the movie in theaters, I probably would have applauded at the very least when this
I would
happened.
have at least thrown my popcorn at the screen, and stand up on my chair and started yelling at the top of my lungs. At least, out
See
of
a
respect.
big Chungus cameo in the new Space Jam movie is like when Marvel shows their villain in their Black Widow movie doing something Captain America would do. I'm like, oh, they did the thing I really enjoy,
Oh, it's like that
but
thing.
in a different movie.
Hey, remember those memes that we saw on our iPhones? They're in movies now.
The
It's
world is
like
getting too
it's
aware.
like they know what we. It's like they're on Twitter too. When I was a kid, every time like a show would like reference a meme or like something like that or like a movie, it would
Mhm.
make me so excited because I'd be like, "What? He's seen that show too? The guy who makes The Simpsons has also seen The Wizard of Oz?
Yeah.
What are the odds of that?" So,
Big Chung guy.
big chungai.
Yeah.
That's what you call, the big chunguses that are
Mhm.
growing
The army that will
under
be in Space
plateau.
Jam 3,
Right, right.
fighting alongside Don Cheadle.
You got to make sure if you have any like stumps, near your home, to scrub them because you don't want any big chungai growing.
Hmm.
It can be very bad. So the last review, another 5-star review for Space Jam Legacy
Hmm.
from Ed, who says, "Not gonna lie, I haven't seen it." Which means this is probably one of the most honest reviews so far.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not getting great reviews.
I hear it's not.
Hmm. Yeah, people
I hear
are,
people don't like it too much.
no. Uh, well, we will probably watch it next week by next week and let you know how much we laughed at Big Chungus. And this is our official endorsement of Don Cheadle for the Emmy. So yeah. Anything else,
You
Evan?
endorse people for Emmys?
I endorse only one person for Emmys, and that's Don Cheadle.
Jonathan Cheadle.
Yeah. All right. Anything else?
Mm, just remember
Mm-hmm.
to like,
Right.
subscribe,
Right.
leave a comment down below. Tell 10 of your friends.
10.
Serious.
Make sure you have
Tell
enough to fill both
10
hands.
of your friends. Or don't. But please, it would really mean a lot to us. We'll be your best friend.
It would
Promise.
mean so much.
I know.
Um, Thank you, and have a great rest of your day.